I'm going to launch right into what she was wearing with this toe ring. Okay, this is very significant. This is one of the most significant outfit she ever showed up in. Okay, and where she showed up is significant too. Okay, let me begin by saying that in 2018, I left this house that I'm now in Silver Spring, Maryland. Me and my wife, we rented out this house to a renter, and we left to try and live in Colorado. We had wanted to move to Italy. I'm not sure how much of this is necessary as introduction, but my application for Italian citizenship got denied on fraudulent reasons, let's call them. But okay, it got denied. So I said to my wife, and we agreed, let's see if we can live in Colorado. It happens that our son was out there at the University of Colorado, so it would have been helpful to us to be Colorado residents. It would have brought the cost of his education way down. So, since I am a descendant of ancestors from Colorado, uh, Colorado is a place I've wanted to live for a long time. So it wasn't just our son being in the university out there. It was I loved Colorado, and I have still have relatives out there. So my wife and I leave for Colorado with all our possessions in this gigantic rented truck that we in our 60s loaded ourselves. And then I drove that truck across the United States to Colorado. And we unloaded it and so on, and we moved out there. Now, while we were out there, one of the first places we were living was a place called Woodland Park. And we were renting a house in Woodland Park, and which advertises itself as the city among the clouds, because it's up about between 8 and 9,000 feet above sea level. It's very high up in the Rocky Mountains, and it's a very neat place. I liked Woodland Park, and we had a neat house that we were renting, and we had TV reception there. We had broadcast TV because my wife and I, we don't pay for cable or satellite or whatever else is offered. We just use an antenna and get whatever's offered on cable. And one of the stations was a weather station, and I forget the name of the station, but it was weather all day long, 24 hours a day. And the weather reports were quite good. I was finding that these weather reports on the weather station were the most interesting thing on TV. I didn't care to watch other stuff. I said, wow, this is interesting. The way they're talking about weather is so interesting. So I was watching all the time weather. If I had the TV on, I had it on the Weather Channel. Well, there was this one weather reporter who was a young woman, and she wore a particular outfit, and at times, if you watch these people, presenters on TV, I believe they're normally called, even though these are meteorologists, right? They're not just presenters. These are people with backgrounds in meteorology, and so they're scientists, right? They're not just presenters presenting, facts that somebody else has accumulated. These are scientists in meteorology. So this one particular lady is one I liked. I liked watching her, but I liked watching a lot of people there. So anyway, sometimes I would film her or others with my phone, and one time I'm filming her, and she had on like a distinctive outfit. It was like red and black, let's just call it, okay? And so now we weren't able to stay in Colorado. I'm not going to go into why we left, but we decided to go back to the East Coast. And we came back to this house. And here we are. And it's like from 2018 till now is 8 years later. So now we're back in this house. We came back in 2022. So in 2022, I began to notice this weather broadcaster on the other side of the earth. And she seemed to be sending messages to me in sign language while giving her reports. Now, that was as amazing to me to experience as it might be to anyone to hear. Okay? That's how amazing it was. If you're hearing this as a watcher of this video and you're saying, somebody sent me a message, wait a minute. Well, that's how I felt. I said, my God, they're making sense. And here come my initials and so on. And okay, so this person was also dressing symbolically. So I watch her for the next roughly, how many months would it have been? Let me see. I'm going to count the months up. The next 4 months, I'm watching her every single time she comes on TV. And she gives a report once an hour, about a 2-minute report, maybe 6 times in 8 hours. Figure she works an 8-hour day, and she gives her report six times. And she's got an hour off for dinner and so on. Now, I theorized that this person got fired for making these signs to me while giving her reports. She got fired for this. She was an outstanding meteorologist. Look, I don't want to be a meteorologist myself, and I've never been big on weather reports. But as I say, as I got older here and I'm in retirement, I was finding that these weather reports were one of the most interesting things to watch on TV for me. So I got to say, I was paying attention to weather reporters, as they're now called, meteorologists, and I can say now that this person who seemed to be sending me messages, apart from her sending me messages, my opinion is this is the best meteorologist by far I have ever seen on TV or anywhere. Well, you only see meteorologists on TV when you're a member of the general public like me. That's the only place you're going to see a meteorologist. And I got to say, this woman's reports are outstanding in every way. And I'm not kidding when I say she is the best. She's the best by far that I've ever seen. And I got to say, one of the reasons must be is this woman appears to be of genius level of intelligence. And I got a lot of reasons for saying that, but she's like a computer. The stuff she brings effortlessly out of her mind, the ease with which she gives these reports. She's completely at home in front of the camera and everything. This is genius level of intelligence. So I'm watching her real closely, and it appears to me she gets fired. She's outstanding, and she gets fired. Well, around the time, shortly after she gets fired, she appears where? On a Hawaiian broadcasting station. Now, why would that be? Maybe she was looking for a job there. Well, what was she wearing? She had a toe ring because she didn't have high heels on or anything or boots or anything that hit her feet. She's in Hawaii, right? Lots of sand and beaches in Hawaii. So she's got on kind of sandals. I think they were white sandals. And You can see her feet, and she has a toe ring on. Well, what else does she have on? She has on the red and black outfit that lady meteorologist that I found so interesting when I was in the Colorado Rockies trying to live with my wife. And I liked her so much I occasionally filmed her reports. And I still have them on saved on my, amidst all the stuff I've saved from photography I've done with my phone camera. So she's wearing like the exact same outfit that this woman wore that I really liked, who's an American, right? And meanwhile, I say she's been fired. Why? For sending me messages. And she's been dressing in symbolic ways that have been important all the way along. I'm not going to go into them, but it's clear that she's not only making signs in sign language, she's dressing in symbolic ways that are clearly pointing to me as the person who's going to understand these colors she's wearing and how she's wearing them. Okay? That's enough. I'm not going to go deeper. And now I see she's appearing on an American station in the exact same, as close as you can get. I mean, I've shown this in videos I've made. Put the two outfits side by side. You say, wow, how did this happen? Well, it was purposeful, but how did she know? I guess I've made so many videos to her. I don't remember what I've said. I probably talked about that woman, and she saw that, and she said, you liked her? Well, here, I'll wear the same thing. I'm coming to America. I got the same thing on. Like me. Like me the way you liked her. Well, that's when she's wearing that toe ring. Now, she's in Hawaii, where you're in Polynesia, right? You ever see the movie Hawaii? You ever read James Michener's book on Hawaii? It just happens to have the most romantic line in literature I've ever heard. It's where the preacher there, played by Max von Sydow, I think I got his name right, he says to his wife, played by Julie Andrews, who I think is like the ideal white woman of Western civilization at this time in history. He's saying to her, what, when she's having a baby? I love you more than God. He says to her. To me, that is the most romantic thing I've ever heard a man say to a woman, or anyone ever say to anyone, when you're talking love. I've never heard anything more romantic than that. I heard that when I was a young kid, maybe 12 years old, around then. I love you more than God, he said to her. So she's in Hawaii, and she's got a toe ring on. Well, does it mean she's a lesbian, or she's a bisexual? She's trying to appeal to me. I'm no homosexual, and I'm no bisexual. I'm a completely heterosexual guy through and through. There's nothing to be proud of, right? Just stating a fact. And she's got a toe ring on. Well, she's trying to appeal to me. What does that toe ring mean with the rest of the outfit she has on? Now, suddenly I'm saying, well, okay, if she is a bisexual, maybe she's saying, I like that woman you like too. I like her. Who knows? Anyway, there's my 15 minutes roughly on the toe ring that she was wearing at this one time in pictures I've seen of her that I've been poring over now for almost 3.5 years.